I'm Rob Machado, and you're watching the Surf Channel.
Welcome back to the Surf Report, your Southern California Surf Channel television news program. I'm your host, Morgan Spadone. You can follow me on the gram and trash my aesthetic to let me know that the feelings are real. In this episode, we're traveling down to San Diego for Switchfoot Pro-Am with Rob Machado, and a Shredline News expose with Pipe Master champion and USA Olympic surf coach, Joey Buran. It's all here for you with waves out the back. You're watching the Surf Channel. Kelly Slater, Joe Parco, has retired from an amazing surf career at the age of 37. He won the championship tour in 2012 and has been an incredible representative for Australia and surfing as a whole. The 2018 USA Surf Championships took place at Lowers in San Clemente, California, where Groms from all over the country came to compete in a live-streamed event. This was their chance for the 18 and under scholastic surfers to show their commitment and skill in competitive surfing. Just before the finals got started, Olympic hopefuls and Olympic medalists paddled out together in a celebration of surfing's introduction to the Olympic Games. Russian athletes are still barred from Olympic participation, so Vladimir Putin on a wetsuit said, "Don't worry, I've got this." Before the Olympic expression session started, Team USA sat down with me to discuss the future of surfing as an Olympic sport and the long road to Tokyo 2020. You can see our interviews with Courtney Conlog, Kyle Mack, and many others by clicking the video link in the description below. At Skeleton Bay in Namibia's Atlantic coastline lies one of the world's most premier waves for getting barreled. Sharky, cold water, and hundreds of miles from the nearest airport, the spot was first surfed only 10 years ago by Corey Lopez. Shredder Koa Smith just had the ride of his life at Skeleton Bay, riding a 1-mile continuous wave and scoring 8 barrels along the way. It was captured by a low-flying drone shot and a GoPro POV, just like this. The Switchfoot Pro-Am is a local Encinitas music and surfing festival that takes place every summer for local at-risk youth. Their 14th annual beach party treats deserving kids to a VIP experience with surfing, food, music, and plenty of sunshine. The Pro-Am is free to attend, but donations are important for their mission to continue. Follow their link in the description to volunteer or donate for next year's event. 2 world surf records were set in the month of June. 344 beginners broke the Guinness World Record for the world's largest surfing lesson. In Portugal, led by former CT surfer Tiago Perez, the effort raised funds for Nariz Vermelho, a non-governmental organization that brings clowns to sick children.
Do you want a balloon too, Georgie?
I don't want the clown, just the balloon, please. Okay, never mind, just keep the balloon. In another world record, 1,000 surfers in Israel paddled out in the Mediterranean. This was to protest an installation of an oil rig just 10 kilometers offshore a Tel Aviv suburb. 1,000 surfers is really impressive. Locals say that the new rig will be a threat to their coastal environment and to public health. They wore jet black shirts with the slogan, "Don't poison us," written across their chests. But of course, authorities claim the platform poses no risk. ISA announced that the 4th annual Stance World Adaptive Surfing Championships will take place once again in La Jolla, California. The ISA has been recognized by the International Paralympic Committee, or the IPC, and the event is a key milestone in seeing surfing included in the Paralympic Games. While I was at Lowers during the Olympic session, I had the opportunity to sit down with 2017 Stance champion and the First Lady of Adaptive Surfing, Alana Nichols.
So we actually have 6 divisions for adaptive surfing. We have the AS1, AS2, 8 through 6. Basically everybody from a quadriplegic to a single leg amputee surfs, and everybody has their own division. My division is just wave ski. The standing divisions include both double and single leg amputees. And then the prone divisions are the quadriplegics, or people with some sort of condition that don't allow them to stand or sit on a board. So I broke my back in a snowboarding accident when I was 17. And I over-rotated a backflip. Like, I wanted to go big, and I've always wanted to go big. Nothing about me changed in that regard. And now I get to be a part of the surf culture and surf. So, it's all about giving people the freedom that they're looking for and that they want to find. So, hey, I'm Elena Nichols, and you're watching the Surf Channel.
The first European wave pool is being developed just outside of Amsterdam. Wait, Amsterdam? I think I know who's going to be there.
Reggae shark and he also wants ganja. But you can't light the spliff when you live underwater.
I'm sure he'll visit the wave pool after a quick stop at the local cafe. Kelly's Wave Company is seeking some serious aerial upgrades, with Josh Kerr and Albie Lair and some machine specialists who are working hard to craft a new plow for the wave pool.
Oh, Mr. Plow, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow.
The Australian surf team has reserved time at the Kelly Slater Wave Ranch to prep for the Olympics. The team just completed a 3-day surf camp in Lemoore, California, in what they call an Olympic readiness training session. Each one of those 3 days cost the Australian Olympic team $10,000. The USA surf team, led by head coach Joey Buran, has recently announced that they will be training at the BSR Wave Ranch in Waco, Texas. I was stoked to have Joey Buran sit down with me in the studio last week to share his plans for Team USA as they enter the Olympic stage. Welcome to this very special episode of Shredline News. Hello and welcome to our new and returning subscribers. Today in the studio, I'm going to be interviewing Coach Joey Buran, head coach for the USA Olympic team. Yeah. Congratulations,
yeah, it's
man.
good to be here with you, man. Awesome.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Yeah.
And so how does it feel to be the very first coach ever for the USA Surfing?
It's a pretty unusual thing because it's without precedent. I can't go ask some other Olympic surf coach how he felt or she felt, right? So it's a great opportunity, but it's also a great responsibility. So there's a lot of joy and excitement about it.
How are you guys preparing mentally, and where are you in the stages of development?
It's a great question, and there's a lot of different moving parts, as you could imagine, for an Olympic team of any sport.
Yeah, you're
right?
building a brand.
Yeah, we're building a brand. So now you come to surfing, we've never been to the Olympics. So we don't have previous Olympic experience like archery would have. We know that the WSL will qualify automatically 8 women and 10 men. So where maybe 6 years from now, we'll actually have a developmental program for elite level surfers in our Olympic program by which we select the Olympians for 2024, that's not the case now. After Tokyo 2020, we'll see all that long-term high performance, all that type of stuff will be coming in and more established.
Yeah, the doors start to open for people. And are you going to be taking part in that decision of opening the door for more athletes to join?
If someone asked me, well, certainly we want more surfers involved in USA Surfing.
Right. But the IOC and all.
Well, with the IOC and the amount of athletes in the Olympics, I would anticipate there's going to be more athletes in 2024 for the sport of surfing of both genders in the Olympics.
You are bringing a bunch of new attributes, a whole new sport for that
Right.
matter, to their stage.
Right.
And I think they're going to be thanking you down the road.
I hope so. We know in our world that if you're not growing, you're dying. And the IOC wants to grow. And they're bringing in rock climbing and street skate and surfing. And now we're talking about the gaming in 2024. It's fluid, and it's exciting to be a part of it, to take the best of our sport and bring it to the IOC, USOC table. And I used to say this, you would dream big. I dreamed to win the Pipe Masters. That's cool, and there's plenty of kids dreaming to win the Pipe Masters, but now I tell them, you need to dream bigger. You need to dream Olympic gold.
Do you think that surfing being in the Olympics will change how competitors focus on the CT Tour?
Not necessarily. I think they're complementary to each other. I don't think they're in conflict with one another. And I think even in the resolution of how the qualification process is for the first Olympics with surfing, Tokyo 2020, I think it's a very amicable agreement that the WSL and the ISA have. So I think when you talk about current WSL surfers, elite CT surfers, this Olympics is probably their Olympics. It's going to have their flavor, their fingerprints, their brand. But I think when you're looking at 2024 and certainly 2028, it's a different surfers Olympics. And we are seeing with 11, 12, 13-year-olds things being done that these surfers didn't do when they were 11, 12, and 13. This isn't baseball. This is an innovative sport that's progressing by 3 to 5 year windows.
So in the United States, we have such a wide age gap. We have Kelly Slater, who's 46, and we have Caroline Marks, who's 16 and dominating.
Right.
And does that change anything about the way that they're going to compete, advantages, disadvantages?
Well, Tokyo 2020 is a hybrid again, and we have a unique situation where you do have Kelly, the greatest of all time, in the twilight of his career, but still capable in his career. And you've got this new generation of these super millennials coming up like Caroline Marks, who has a long future in front of her, but Kelly still has enough gas maybe in the tank for one final great moment. I think in this first Olympics to see a 47, 48-year-old Kelly and a 18-year-old Caroline, wow, that's a 30-year swing. It's crazy when you think about it.
And does that change your approach to coaching?
A little bit. It would change my approach this way, because at the Olympics, I understand what it's like to be a 40-year-old, mid-40s, upper 40s surfer and not be at my best anymore, but still be at a high level. I know what that's like. I've been that surfer. And I also understand what it's like to have a very elite teenage athlete in the camp, because I've worked with teenage athletes for 20 years. I think the commonality is the goals. And again, I was talking earlier off camera about all the training we do at the USOC. It really is like it's management, it's leadership, it's working with people, it's listening better and trying to figure out like how do you help them. I always say with junior surfers is every kid has a code. And you try and figure out the code. Like, how do I communicate? How much information can I give this athlete versus how much information that athlete? I approach coaching that I want our athletes to be focused on who we are and being ready for that moment. In the U.S. Olympic Committee, we have a saying about coaching. We say your practice average is your gold medal performance. You don't find your greatness on the day you're going for gold. You find your greatness when you're grinding it in Huntington Beach 2 years before. It's who you are. It's in your DNA. If it's an 18-year-old Caroline Marks and a 48-year-old Kelly Slater, it would be my job to serve them, to help them, to bless them, and make sure that they feel that we've done our part to help them be at their best to go for the gold when that day arises. Whether it's being a grandpa, a dad, a husband, and all the other things I am, I just want to try and be the best I can be. And that makes it easy to coach Slater or Caroline Marks or anything in between.
These are words to live by.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That you've been sharing with us
Yeah,
today.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's worked for me for 30 years.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kelly Slater's watching, or Caroline Marks, you got a hell of a coach here.
We'll try our best, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and all the
Thank
best
you,
to you
Joey.
guys. Yeah, all the best to you guys with the show, and you go for it. Like you had a vision, and you go for it. That's all we are. We're creators and innovators, right? We go for it. Like this doesn't just happen. You take a step of faith and you make it happen. So I'm glad to be here and be a part of it. So again, thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you, Joey.
All the best, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's check in with our surfers on the championship tour. The Margaret River Pro, we're still talking about that, like a phoenix from the ashes, was reborn into the Uluwatu CT. After 2 wins for Gilmore and 2 for Peterson, French surfer Johan Defay beat 3rd in the world Tatiana Weston Webb in the final heat at Uluwatu. Likewise, there was an upset in the men's division. William Cardosa beat frontrunner Julian Wilson in the final heat, jumping up 11 spots in the tour. With Cardosa's win, the Brazilian surfers claimed 4 of the top 5 spots on the tour. However, that was quickly changed after the results of J-Bay. They're still doing better than the Brazilian soccer team.
What the heck? Look at this! Gliding across the top. Call it running.
At a QS event, South African surfer and Founders Cup champion, Paige Hareb, broke her ribs on a rock in Mexico. Paige currently places 16th in the world, but must sit out from the next CT event at J-Bay. She broke 2 of her ribs and slightly punctured a lung. Paige says that she is gutted, heartbroken, and rib broken. But her spirits are high, and we hope and wish her a healthy recovery. Kelly Slater returned to competition this month, placing 25th in the Corona J-Bay Open. The legendary right-handed wave in South Africa is culpable for breaking Slater's back foot in 2 places last season. This was Slater's 5th foot injury in 5 years, but it's nothing a little duct tape can't fix.
I'll take care of it.
J-Bay was kind of like a repeat of the Oi Rio Pro, as Toledo and Carmichael battled in the final round, leading to another win for Felipe Toledo. But this has to be the longest floater I've ever seen in a competition. Give it up for Wade Carmichael on that one. Ew, floater! South Africa is home to Jordy Smith, and to me, he looked like the strongest surfer in the water. The hometown hero clinched a 3rd place finish at J-Bay, putting him now in the top 5 leaderboard. Toledo has once again knocked Julian Wilson down a peg, and a Brazilian surfer, Toledo, will wear the yellow jersey in Tahiti. As a former Pipe Master champion and San Diego's most famous hippie, this classic surfer has made great efforts to avoid the media spotlight. In 2006, he created a foundation that supports urban gardening and water conservation. He also donates his time to the Challenge Athletes Foundation. The friendliest face around town, here is Rob Machado for our Sender Special. Can you explain to me what was the founding cornerstone of the Rob Machado Foundation?
You know, my daughter was born in 2001, and when she started going to elementary school, I started kind of cruising around the schools and seeing a lot of things that were missing, like just basic recycling programs and good drinking water on campuses. And this like little light bulb went off, and I just felt like I needed to start something. Being able to go into these schools and just help them out and kind of point them in the right direction and maybe get some funding to help little programs get started. But I just saw all these kids showing up to school with, you know, a little plastic water bottle of water for school, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Like, and I started talking to the kids. I'm like, hey, do you guys drink out of these drinking fountains ever? And they're like, oh, no way, they're disgusting. This little light bulb went off, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to just have refill stations at schools so that kids didn't need to bring those plastic water bottles every day, and they could all have their own little canteen, refillable, reusable, and they just have a place to refill, and it's good, clean, healthy water.
And in terms of helping out, how would people like us and the viewers watching this at home, how would they be able to donate, help?
Yeah, I think the most simple thing to do is go on the website, robmachadofoundation.org, and there's ways to see about events. You know, there's volunteers for today's event, and then there's ways to donate, and there's ways to get involved. I mean, check it out. Just go check out the website.
Now, let's look at the forecast for the summer season. We're looking forward to seeing the results of the Women's CT event at J-Bay. The start of the Tahiti Pro on August 10th, and we're especially stoked for the 2018 U.S. Open of Surf in Surf City, USA. The Huntington Beach Pier hosts the largest surf contest on the mainland United States, and the crowds are notoriously rowdy. It is officially summer here for us on the Northern Hemisphere, and technically another El Nino season. We hope you're all having a good one. Thank you again to Alana Nichols, Rob Machado, and Joey Buran for sitting down with us for this episode of the Surf Report. Until next time, I'm Surf with Spadone, and here is your kook of the month.
Don't listen to him.
Make sure you like, subscribe to the Surf channel, smash the like button, take your keyboard, break it in half, take your mouse, throw it against the wall, and pour hot liquids over the rest of your electronics because